Hi everyone, this is Joanna Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and today I'm talking about the first edit that I'm about to go through, or I've started going through already, for my first novel, which is called Pentecost. It's a religious thriller. And I'm not going to give too much away about it yet, but basically I finished my first draft and now I'm starting the edits. And I'm starting with a very high level of edit, and I've mentioned before I'm doing Holly Lyle's How to Revise a Novel course, which is brilliant. And she basically says, look, when you read that first draft, you're going to be like, oh God, that's terrible, that's awful, what about that spelling? You know, basically forget all of that stuff at this stage. What you should be doing is deciding on what you wanted the book to be in the first place. So does it fit with your idea of what you wanted the book? Like the idea that made you write this, that made you spend however long, 6 months, a year, however long writing this book. Is that idea, has that come to fruition, or have you actually created what you wanted to do in your head? And start with that. So write down what you wanted, then read the book in entirety. So I've done that, and write down sort of notes as you go in terms of story, character, and the world that you're creating, and any other notes, but on a really high level. So do not line edit, don't change typos, don't fix don't fix words, don't go to the thesaurus, don't do all of that. That is for later. Right now you're only doing a big high level story edit to try and see if what you've got is what you wanted. So I did that. I've been through the whole thing, and actually I'm really pleased because I think the outlining I did sort of January, February, I think, when I rejigged the whole thing, has actually worked, and the book is pretty near what I wanted it to be, which is a sort of fast-paced thriller, high body count, religious themes, bad guys, lots of fun, action sort of thriller, but with thinking stuff as well. So I'm quite pleased about that. But then as I went through, I found over 100 points that I need to actually fix up, but they're quite minor. Well, say minor. I was going to tell you a few of those things. So first of all, weaving backstory in. So for example, I very near the beginning I kind of launch into this action scene, and I think there's a bit of a shock if you're reading it, because you're like, how did this woman go from being an academic to sort of kick-ass fighter? And I haven't actually told you how she got there, so I need to weave her backstory in so that you can understand how she is this amazing. Also the consistency of my language. I've noticed I've used different things. So I have, the sort of the relic, the pendant, or the stones from the apostles, and I use different language. So I need to go back and make sure my language is clear, and also that the consistency of my timeline is clear. And that's also a bit hard. So I need to make sure that all my characters are actually in the right places at the right time. Points of view, I'm using multiple points of view, so you don't see the whole story from the protagonist. You also cut to the bad guy, you cut to various locations and see different things from different points of view, which I think is a fast-paced kind of thriller style. But in some areas I've merged points of view and it's a bit confusing, so I definitely need to revisit points of view. Scenes. So I had chapters, but when I went through the big high-level edit, it seemed to me that they were more like scenes. So I've cut everything down to scenes, so I've got a lot more of them than I had chapters, and I don't know how I'm going to stitch it all back together again, but I'm going to look at other thriller novels in the same sort of genre as me, sort of James Rollins, Lincoln and Child, that type of thing, and see what the genre does and play with that a bit. But definitely writing scenes and rewriting according to scenes is what I'm going to do. And finally, locations. I love travel. I've travelled a lot myself, and my book spans the world. Oxford in England, Jerusalem, Tabriz in Iran, make it to a wadi in Tunisia, and then Arizona in America, as well as some other places, Santiago de Compostela in Spain. And I've written some good stuff and some really, really bad descriptions. So I need to make sure I make my descriptions part of the story and the action, and also make it really evocative. I think these locations are very important to the story, but they also need to be very real. So but that's pretty exciting. So yeah, that's just the kind of high level stuff, and as I said, I've got over 100 things to fix in the first run through, story level stuff. I'll be fixing that hopefully over the next month or two, and then I will be going back again all the way through and doing the next level down. So I'm kind of starting at the top level and moving down, and only near the end will I do line edits, and then I will engage a professional and then do it again. So the editing process so far I'm enjoying. I like having the material to work with, but I can see it's a lot of work. So good luck to you if you're editing and having some fun blogging about it. So yeah, all the best with your writing and editing. I'm Joanna Penn from The Creative Penn.